How's it going, everybody? Chaos Gamer here, and yes, we are back with some more My Hero Ultra Impact. And in today's video, we are going to be breaking down the All Might Climax battle at the SS rank difficulty, making sure that you guys that are suffering can have a little bit more of a easier time trying to defeat this man. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's blow this shit right the hell up. And ladies and gentlemen, let us get started with today's video. So the recommended skills that you're going to need for this fight is the following: Aesthetic plus Ultra Gauge Up, Last Stand, Piercing Shot, and Cancel Temporary Buffs. Now, I feel like you can get away with not having Piercing Shot on your lineup, but definitely what you need on your team is plus Ultra Gauge Up, Last Stand, and Cancel Temporary Buffs. Those are automatic. If you do not have those, you are going to be struggling to the maximum, and All Might is going to make sure you are in a living hell. Now, a side note to have as well is that do not bring green or blue characters, because if you do, All Might is going to give them fatigue, and you cannot build your plus Ultra Gauge at all. You cannot crit in this fight because... Oh, I spelled this wrong? Damn it, I'm such an idiot. But yeah, you can't crit because All Might has Tranquility, so that basically blocks any chances of you doing that extra damage or going through his defenses. All Might has the ability to recovery block for a set amount of turns, so if you're wondering why you can't heal, that is the reason why. All Might does his little AoE, and then BAM! You can't heal whatsoever, so good luck with that. Now, let's move on to the phases, which is phase 1. You gotta make sure All Might HP is low to move on to the next phase, while also removing his buffs. And in case you don't know what those buffs look like, these are the buffs right here, which is on this screen. We see attack up, speed up, defensive up, and I don't know what that last one is, but I think it just goes through damage reduction. I don't know. So if you have the correct characters that cancel these buffs, All Might is not going to be getting these whatsoever. It'll be completely blank, and then All Might will not do as much damage. You're going to be a-okay. Now for the second phase, you have to make sure that you remove All Might's buff before he does his second or third attack. That is an action skill. If the buff is still active, he's going to be doing a lot of damage, and if you cannot remove it by then, make sure you have a healer that's healing all the damage that you are taking, or you have a tank that could take the blow, because it's only a single attack. So if that tank is able to receive that attack, if they got like aggro or cover, for example, Reductro from Climax Battle, he's the perfect option to have as a tank. That damage is just basically going to be like what? Like 6,000, 7,000, probably even less than that. But if you don't got a character like that, just make sure that buff is removed and you're going to be perfectly fine. Now, also another thing with this phase as well is that after a number of turns pass in this phase, All Might will start to spam plus ultras. So be careful and make sure either defeat him before he gets to that point, or be ready to survive each and every single one of these attacks, which you can survive and move on to the third phase while having all those plus ultras activated. But I would highly recommend that you just beat that man for free to make sure he doesn't get off a single plus ultra animation in that phase, and you're able to go comfortably into the third phase, which is now, it's just the same strategy. Keep removing and canceling his buffs to make sure he's not getting the upper hand on you. So third phase is pretty basic. But now we move on to the fourth phase. Now this is where All Might shows his true power. He cannot be defeated unless you have done a total of 8 plus ultras. So make sure your characters are getting plus ultra gauge up by either having a support character who is boosting the gauge, / having a support memory that is doing the same thing. Also, I think it's highly recommended you have a support character that is making sure you are staying alive with Last Stand. And in case you need to know how All Might is tracking the amount of plus ultras you're doing, there it is right there. If you do a total of 8, like I said earlier, you're going to be able to cook him for free. He will not have Last Stand or nothing else like that. Imagine he had Last Stand as well. That would have been absolutely annoying. Or Persistent, kill me now. But now that we looked over the phases and what you should be doing in each one of those, these are the best characters to use for this fight. Now, shout out to Lele, Diablo, Might, and Char. These people came in clutch with some of the best characters that you could use for this fight. And now let's read what they have to say. A note that some of these units can't fulfill more than one role, so it's recommended to read them carefully, but it's recommended to always make a team with at least one of them. Tanks do play an important role, as thanks to them, you can clutch and resist All Might's attack, Redestro being the best option. And I can highly agree with this, because as you guys saw in yesterday's video, that man was doing so much damage. I don't have a tank on my team, so it's much more harder for me to be able to survive this fight, and healers just play a humongous role for me. And as we said earlier, shout out to the other two that were able to make this tier list as well, which now we could take a look at. Well, sadly, we have to scroll all the way down once again, but here's the tier list. It is separated by debuffer, tank / survivability, plus ultra gauge builders, and DPS. Now, debuffers, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you have this all for one, congratulations. This fight just became super easy for you. And the reason being is that this All For One is so good up against hero characters that are yellow. He's just able to make sure that they are not doing anything whatsoever. This Ashido as well is super clutch because she has Last Stand, having the ability to remove buffs on her action skill and plus Ultra Gauge. So she's just going to make it to where that you can live a little bit longer. And this red All For One as well is a great option for the fight. I actually used them to beat this fight. Luckily for him, he was a light version of the purple All Might. Now, tanks, as we said earlier, the best one to have on the team is going to be the Redestro, just because he's purple and he just has that super nice aggro effect that makes it to where that he is the only one receiving the attacks, not the rest of your allies. Momo could also be put for like healer as well if we had a slash healer, just for the fact to make sure that she has the same thing as purple Ashido, healing and Last Stand. Midoriya as well, and then finally we got Celebration. Shoto, which I'm kind of shocked to see him on here, but he does have good effects to make sure that you are surviving the fight. And the reason why I'm shocked is because he does have Barrier, and I'm assuming that when I read the list, All Might does do something if you have Barrier, but if you could beat it with him, by all means, then I guess I was just bullshitting. Next, we got plus Ultra Builders, which you have the Uraraka, the Froppy, Movie Izuku Midoriya, the All Might that you get from Climax Battle. Funny enough that you could use them in this fight. Present Mike, and finally the purple SR All Might, which I feel like I see him in every single Climax Battle. If you feel like there's a Climax Battle that he's not good in, please let me know. But I don't know, man. I just see this man pop up everywhere every time it's Climax Battle. I just feel like the first thing I gotta see when a person builds a team, where's that purple All Might at? And then finally, the DPS, we got 3rd anniversary Midoriya, Fantasy Bakugo, Fumikage, Tokoyami, Lady Nage, Shigaraki, and finally Season 7 Hado. Now, I would recommend, if you are building some teams here, is definitely have one of each. A character that's going to be able to heal, make sure you have Last Stand, a debuffer, and also a character that is doing a lot of damage. If you have those 3 on a team, that's just going to make your life so much easier. Now, you could do the 3-team strat, have 2 Rs in the back, and then later on just have them come and die so that you can have the same 3 members the whole time. But I feel like I would recommend you just have a good 5-set team to make sure that each character is making it to where that everybody is safe and you could just do enough damage to cook for free. Now, this is the team that I use to beat this fight right here, which is the Movie Izuku Midoriya, Bakugo, Ashido, All For One, and then Shigaraki. Now, as I said earlier, I do not have a tank on my team, so it is definitely super important to make sure that my support characters are keeping Bakugo alive while he is doing the damage that he needs to do to cook for free. And then just in case that we don't have Ashido on the lineup, we do have the All For One, making sure that he is removing All Might's buff, and he makes it to where that we are able to do a lot more damage with the defensive debuff. So with that, that's basically everything that we have here on the guide. But real quick, I do want to go to the website so you guys can see some of the good support memories that you can have that are specifically building your plus Ultra Gauge up. So we'll be right back with that, ready to go. Now here we are on the website checking out the support memories that you might want to be using for this fight. So let's go to all skills right here. Let's see if we can find plus Ultra Gauge up. Nope, that's plus Ultra Move Impact up. Plus Ultra Gauge up right here. So these are going to be some of the best support memories that you're going to want to use for this fight. I always see the support memory in majority of Climax Battle. It is a very good support memory. Make sure you are grinding USJ mode for that. But yeah, basically all of these are going to be coming in clutch for you. I don't really use SR support memories like that, but if you got some good SR support memories that come in clutch for this fight specifically, by all means, go ahead. So with that is where we're ending today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and comment if you want to. You don't have to, but it's always greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe. Now, if you feel like you can add more onto this guide, maybe some characters that weren't mentioned on the tier list, or maybe just, something I said wrong, by all means, go ahead. So with that, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.